Welcome. So in the last lecture we have discussed the role of the stack and the stack pointer in calling a subroutine. When a subroutine is called, how the parameters are being passed to the subroutine. The parameters are passed by pushing those parameters into the stack. Not only parameters, we can also pass local variables. Here local variables in the sense, say this R0, R1, R2, if you want to use it in the called program, that is in the subroutine, if you want to use these things, then we cannot use directly as such, because the calling program may also be using these registers. Here you can see some of this register it is using R1 and R2, so it may have some values. So when the control again finally comes back to the calling program, the calling program will expect that R1 should retain its old value. Okay, so we cannot directly use. So before the subroutine is being executed, these values should be pushed into the stack. Okay, so how that is to be done? So that is what we have discussed through this instruction. Move multiple. Through this instruction, the the register contents can be pushed into the stack. So before uh, so so the moment the control goes from the called program, from the calling program, this is the calling program. Okay, the moment the control moves from the calling program to the subroutine, first what the subroutine is doing, if you see here, this is the first statement, it is saving these registers values into the stack. Okay, similarly after finishing executing the subroutine, it is restoring its value. It is restoring the values of R0, R1 and R2 from stack. From it is here it is storing to stack. Okay, here from stack it is getting restored to these registers. Okay, because now the next statement is return. After executing return, control will come here. When the control comes here, the calling program will expect the original values of R1 and R2 before the call happened. Okay, so that is why we are doing this. So here R0, R1 and R2 are treated as local variables. So apart from pushing the parameters, we are also pushing this local variables into the stack. Okay, so what are the parameters here? Num1, n, these are parameters. This also we are pushing into the stack. Okay, and we have discussed like how all these things are pushed properly, and how all these things are retrieved properly. Okay, and finally how the control goes back to the main program, and finally how the stack pointer is getting updated to its original value of the state, how the stack pointer is getting updated to its original state, like before this function get called, before starting executing this function. Okay, so this is what we have discussed in the last lecture, right? In today's lecture, what we will be discussing in the sense, what is the role of the stack when there is a nested subroutine call. What is the role of the stack when there is a nested subroutine call? It means that say for example, there is a main program. Okay, there is a main program. This main program is calling subroutine 1. This main program is calling subroutine 1. Okay, control goes to subroutine 1. Subroutine 1 is somewhere here. Okay, say again subroutine 1 is calling subroutine 2. Subroutine 1 is calling subroutine 2. Okay, subroutine 1 is calling subroutine 2. So the control goes to subroutine 2. Right? Now subroutine 2 calls subroutine 3. Subroutine 2 calls subroutine 3. Okay, so this kind of function call, this kind of thing is called as nested subroutine call, and it can go up to any level. It can go up to any level. Okay, there is no restriction like there should be this many level. No, it can go for any level. Okay, but let us assume in our case it is up to subroutine 3. So the last statement will be return statement. When the return statement of subroutine 3 is executed, control should go back to subroutine 2 after the call statement. Okay, and the last statement in subroutine 2 will be return. When the return statement of subroutine 2 is executed, control should go back to the the statement which follows the uh, subroutine 2 call statement. Okay, and again when the return statement of subroutine 1 executed, the control will go back to the main program, to the instruction which follows the call instruction. Okay, so main program, let us assume it ends with an end statement or whatever it may be. Okay, so here each subroutine, say for example the main program is calling subroutine 1. Now the main program may pass some parameters. Say it want to pass two parameters, then these two parameters should be pushed into stack. Okay, say subroutine 1 wants to use two registers, say R0 and R1. Then before using R0 and R1, it don't know that main program is also using R0 and R1 or not. It may use, in that case it cannot overwrite R0 and R1. So before using R0 and R1, subroutine 1 should push R0 and R1 to stack. Are you getting? Okay, right? Now subroutine 1 is executing, but there is a subroutine 2, there is a call to subroutine 2. Now control transfer to subroutine 2. So before transferring the control to subroutine 2, maybe subroutine 2 may pass, assume subroutine 1 is passing 3 parameters to subroutine 2. So these 3 parameters should be pushed into stack. Assume subroutine 2 wants to use 3 registers. Again, the registers may be used by subroutine 1. So those register values should be restored into stack. So that will be again another 3. Okay. Again subroutine 2 calls subroutine 3. Maybe subroutine 3 calls getting called with the 2 parameters. So these 2 parameters should be pushed into stack. And subroutine 3, say it wants to use 2 registers. So it cannot use directly because its previous value, otherwise it will be lost. So those registers also, content also should be pushed into stack. So now the point is, if you see, as the what you call, as the nested subroutine call, as the degree of the nested subroutine call increases, the stack, you are going to push more and more item to the stack. Are you getting? As the degree of the nested subroutine call increases, you are going to push more and more entries into stack. Say for example, here whatever we have understood, subroutine 1 is passing 2 parameters, and main program is passing 2 parameters to subroutine 1, and subroutine 1 wants to use 2 registers. So this itself, it will do how many pushes? 4 pushes. So originally if stack pointer is here, say here, which is at location 1000, okay, then pushing all these values, stack pointer will go back to, let us assume again the word size as 4 bytes, then it will be 4 bytes. Okay, each 4 pushes, each 4 bytes. Okay, so it is 1000 minus 16. What is 1000 minus 16? So first entry will come here, second will come here, third will come here, okay, fourth will come here. Okay, now stack pointer will point here. Okay, so this will be 996, this will be 998, this will be 9988. Okay, so stack pointer will be here. Again before transferring the control, you should pass the return address. So you should add the return address also here. So one more push, return address. Okay, so 9988, again return address will come here. So it becomes what? 9984, 9984. That is stack pointer will point to this location. This is just for transferring control from main function to subroutine 1. Okay. Again, if you push these items, 3 plus 3, 6 plus 1 return address, again return address for subroutine 2. So it will be again another 7. Another 7 pushes you have to do. Okay. For this you have to do another 5 pushes. So if you do such things, what happens? The point I am trying to say is the stack will keep on grow. I mean the number of pushes in the stack will increase and the stack pointer will go somewhere else. Okay. This is just for 3 nested calls. If there is 5 nested calls, then what will happen? Stack pointer will go uh, very the stack pointer will depending on the number of pushes, the stack pointer will always point to the top of the stack. Okay, accordingly it will move. Okay, so it is not just enough to use only the stack pointer. So when there is nested subroutine calls, uh, things cannot be managed just by using stack pointer alone. So here we are going to introduce another pointer. So here we are going to introduce another pointer, and this pointer is called as frame pointer. Okay, and this pointer is called as the frame pointer. So what is a frame pointer? Okay, what is a frame pointer? The frame pointer provides convenient access to parameters and local variables that are pushed into the stack when you call when the control transferred from the calling program to the subroutine. Okay, apart from stack pointer, we are going to use another pointer. This pointer is called as frame pointer. So why we are using frame pointer? We are using pointer to conveniently access the parameters and local variables that are getting pushed into the stack when a subroutine is getting called. Okay, this is the reason why we are going to use the frame pointer. Okay, I think the context is clear. So the objective of this lecture is when there is a nested subroutine call, the number of push that will happen into the stack will increase more. Okay, depending on the degree of the nested subroutine call. Okay, so the stack pointer will keep on moving to the top. Okay, and it goes like that. So to manage things, it may not be that easy to manage things only just by using stack pointer. So we are going to use another pointer. This another pointer is called as frame pointer. Okay, and what is the role of the frame pointer? Frame pointer helps us to conveniently access the parameters and local variables that are getting pushed into the stack when there is a subroutine call. Okay, fine. And apart from this, now when there is a nested subroutine call, uh, we need more space. More space is required in the stack for local variables and also for passing the parameters. Okay, for this purpose, we use a special area of the stack, and that area of the stack is called a stack frame. Okay, the special area of the frame is called a stack frame. Okay, if the subroutine requires more space for local variables, the space for these variables can also be allocated on the stack. So this area of the stack is called a stack frame. Okay, so stack frame will be used. Stack frame is also a stack. Okay, but it is, you can say, it is a stack with a larger space. Okay, so when you have to use stack frame in the sense, or when the operating system will use the stack frame in the sense whenever there is a nested subroutine call. Okay, right? So if there is nested subroutine call, then we need more space, because you have to push more parameters and more local variables into the stack. In that case, we can use some additional area of the stack which is called as stack frame. Okay, that's it. Fine. So with this understanding, let us now get into the details of how nested subroutine call works. Okay, so now we are not going to manage things just with one pointer, we are going to manage things with two pointers. Okay, see, throughout this topic we discussed different cases. See, first case, if you recollect, when there is just a subroutine call, okay, we are not passing any parameters, or we are not passing any local variables. In that case, only one subroutine call, no parameters, no local variables. In that case, you can manage things just by using the link register alone. One additional register we are using to manage the things. Okay, next, when there is one call, okay, when there is one call with by passing some parameters, then we manage the things by using stack and by using register, registers. Here also we have not used the, what you call, yeah, we manage things only by using registers. Here also we have not used the stack. Here we want to pass parameters, but we passed parameters through registers. No involvement of stack. Okay, and the third case what we discussed is when we want to pass some parameters and also when we want to pass some local variables, then stack comes into picture. Okay, then you want to pass some lot of information to the calling program, to the call program. Okay, so stack came into play. So this is what we discussed in the last lecture, how we managed this. Okay, now the fourth case what we are discussing is when there is a nested call. When there is a nested call, then then each of the call will push the parameters, and also they will push the local variables, and also they will push the return address into the stack. Okay, so now what happens, stack size will keep growing and stack pointer will keep pointing to the topmost element. So now to manage the things in a easier way or in a convenient way, we are introducing another pointer. This second pointer is called as frame pointer. The second pointer is called as frame pointer, which is used to conveniently access the parameters and the local variables in the stack. Okay, fine. So let us try to understand the role of the frame pointer with this example. Okay, right. So, so So let us see the code here. Okay, see, this is, so we are discussing only two levels. Okay, not even three levels. This is the main program. This is the subroutine 1. Main program is calling subroutine 1. Okay, and this is the subroutine 2. Subroutine 1 is calling subroutine 2. Okay, starting at the main program starting address we don't know, but from this address onwards we are considering address 2000. Subroutine 1 starting address is 2100. Subroutine 2 starting address is 3000. Okay, right. So let us try to understand. Okay, so before executing this instruction 2000 in the main program, stack pointer is pointing here. Okay, SP is here. This is the, that is old, this is old TOS, that is originally what is TOS, top of stack. SP is pointing here. Okay, right. So for our convenience, let us assume this address as 1000. Let us assume this address as 1000. And you know that stack grows from higher address to lower address. Okay, so it grows in this direction from higher address to lower address. It grows towards 0. Okay, fine, right. Then immediately what we are doing, this main program want to pass two parameters to the subroutine. So first it is pushing these two parameters into stack. Move parameter 2 minus SP. Okay, minus SP, that is, it is pre decrementing and then pushing. Okay, so first it is decremented stack pointer and then parameter 2 comes here. Okay, so parameter 2 will be stored in the location 9996. Parameter 2 will be stored in the location 9996, and then the next statement is move parameter again pre decrement of SP. So first stack pointer will be decremented. Okay, so now stack pointer is pointing here and parameter 1 is passed in the location 9992. Okay, we assume each, the word size is 4 bytes. Okay, 9992, here parameter 2 will be pushed. Okay, then call subroutine. So before call subroutine means control should transfer to 2100. That is, now PC will be set to what, 2100. Okay, but before doing that, the return address should be pushed into the stack. What is the return address? 2012. So return address before it should be pushed. So before pushing SP will decrement and then push 2012 into the stack. Okay, so 99982 minus 4 is 9988. Okay, so now stack is pointing here. At this point, this is where stack is pointing. Okay, this is stack is pointing here. Okay, fine. And PC now becomes 2100. So because call subroutine means subroutine 1 refers to, subroutine 1 is the name of the subroutine and its address is 2100. So PC is 2100. So now execution will start from 2100. Okay, you can see here the first statement is now the FP is coming into play, frame pointer is coming into play. Okay, move FP comma -1 comma SP. Okay, so this is what, so every function, every subroutine will have its own frame pointer. Okay, every subroutine will have its own frame pointer. Okay, so whatever the content of the frame pointer, whatever the content of the frame pointer, we are pushing into the stack. Okay, whatever the I mean, so this is this actually this FP. So every, see every, I mean, so see there is only one frame pointer. It is not that there are many frame pointers. There is only one frame pointer. Okay, but uh, but frame pointer can be used by any function. It can be used by the main program, it can be used by subroutine 1, and also it can be used by subroutine 2 or anything else. Okay, so now subroutine 1 want to use the frame pointer. Now subroutine 1 want to use the frame pointer. Okay, so that doesn't mean that subroutine 1 can directly use it. It cannot use just like that. Okay, because there is only one frame pointer. So already main program may be using that frame pointer, so it cannot directly use it. Before using, the old frame pointer value should be stored in the stack. Okay, because later subroutine, I mean the main program, may want that frame pointer. Okay, so first we are pushing the frame pointer value to the stack before going to use. Okay, I think the point is clear. It is similarly, see how we, before using the register contents, how we push register into the stack. Why we are not using R0, R1 and R2 directly? Because the main program might be using it. Similarly, the frame pointer may be used by the main program, so we cannot overwrite its contents. Because of that reason, the whatever the old value of frame pointer which is being maintained by the main program, that is being pushed into the stack. So that is done by this instruction. So when you execute this instruction, SP will point to this location which is 9984. It is 9984. SP will point here. Okay, and what this instruction does, the FP value from the main function is pushed into stack. Here you can see FP from main. So whatever the frame pointer value from main function, that is being pushed into stack. Okay, then what we are doing, move SP comma FP, that is move the content of SP to FP. It is something like copying. Here move means it won't it will not remove from SP and it will place in FP. No, it copies from SP to FP. It means now FP is also pointing to this location. The FP is also pointing to this location, which is what, 9984 location. Okay, are you getting? So now this program want to use FP. Subroutine 1 wants to use FP. So before that, it is pushing the older FP from main into the stack. That is the point. Okay, and currently FP is pointing wherever stack pointer is pointing. Stack pointer where it is pointing, 9984. FP is also pointing here. Right? Fine. Okay. Okay. Next you see, move multiple R0 to R1, R3 minus SP. So this is similar to what we have discussed in the previous class. So this function, it want to use these three registers, R0, R1, four registers, R0, R1, R2 and R3. So it is pushing all these things into stack. Okay, so after pushing all these things, what will happen? After pushing R0, SP will point to 9980. Okay, I am not writing 99, it will point to 80. Okay, after pushing R1, it will point to 76. After pushing R2, it will point to 776 minus 4, right, 72. And then after pausing R3, it will point to 68. Okay, okay, 99, you can add 99. Okay, now SP is pointing here. Now after pushing all these four values, SP is pointing to 9968. Okay, 9968. Fine, but frame pointer is still pointing to 9984. It's not changed. Okay, fine. So why we are pushing this, that you know, because calling program, the called program, that is the subroutine, want to use these things. So but the main program, the calling program is the main program that might have used R0, R1, R2, R3, we don't know. Those values from main are pushed into the stack. So you can see here R0 from main, R1 from main, R2 from main, R3 from main, okay, or whatever the calling program, okay, because later once the control get back to the main program, these values should be retained, so it is pushed, okay, right, okay, fine. Then what we are doing, move 8 of fp comma or not. See now, why now the role of fp comes, okay, why we are using fp now you can appreciate. See now this is this part of the stack, it only belongs to subroutine 1. This part of the stack, it only contains the entries corresponding to subroutine 1. You can see these are the two parameters that are passed to subroutine 1, and these are what, r0, r1 and r2, r3 values from the main function, okay. Now if from fp, if you want to access parameter 1, you can just access fp plus 8. fp plus 4 is return address, fp plus 8 is parameter 1. fp plus 12 will give you parameter 2, okay, are you getting? Similarly, if you want to restore these values of r0, r1 and r2 from the stack to those registers, then you can just do that by fp plus 4, fp plus 8, fp plus 12 and fp plus 16, right? So this is the convenient we get, are you getting? Right. So let us see, let us consider, let us go with the flow. Move 8 of fp comma or not. So what is 8 of fp? fp is 9984 plus 8 is what? 9984 plus 8 is 9992. 9992 contains what? Parameter 1. So this parameter 1 is now moved to R0. Okay. So now R0 will have parameter 1. I'll call it as P1. Okay. Then, but FP pointer is not changing. FP is still pointing to 9984, right? Again move 12 of FP comma R1. What is FP? 9984 plus 12. 84 plus 12 is 96. And what is there? Parameter 2. And 12 of FP is moved to R1. So parameter 2 is moved to R1. Okay. Parameter 1 is moved to R0 and parameter 2 is moved to R1. Okay. Now this program may perform what is the what this subroutine is doing. We are not going into the detail. Okay. We are only understanding. We are only using this logic to understand the flow. Okay. And how stack pointer is being used and how frame pointer is being used, right? So then some instruction is getting executed, okay, something is going on here, we are not bothered about that, right? Then what we are doing, then this program subroutine 1, it is going to call subroutine 2, it is going to call another subroutine 2, okay. So whenever a program, whenever you are, before going to call a subroutine, you have to pass the parameter, right? Here also you can see in the main program, before calling the subroutine 1, what the main program was doing, it is passing the parameters. It has passed 2 parameters. Similarly, now this subroutine 1, it want to call subroutine 2, but before that it want to pass some parameter to subroutine 2. In this case, it want to pass only one parameter. So what it is saying, move parameter 3 comma minus sp. So parameters can be passed only through stack. So where is stack currently? 68 9968. So stack pointer will be again decremented by 4 and this parameter 3 will be placed there. So parameter 3 will be placed in 9964, okay, and now SP will point to this location 9964. That is, whenever you push or pop, stack will change, otherwise stack won't change, okay. So now it is something like a push, move parameter 3 comma minus SP, or saying decrement SP. So first it is decremented and then it is pushed, okay. Then call the subroutine. Call subroutine. What is the subroutine's address? 3000. Subroutine's address is 3000. So PC should become 3000, okay. But before that, the return address should be pushed. What is the return address? After calling this subroutine 2, the return address is 2164, okay. So return address is pushed into the stack. So after pushing the return address, that is, before pushing, SP will be decremented. So after pushing, SP will become 60. 64 minus 4 is what? 60, okay. So SP is now 99, I'll write it clearly, it is 60. Okay, it is 9960. So SP is now pointing to the location 9960. Okay, SP is now pointing to this location 9960. Okay, fine. And then call happens, call to subroutine 2. What is the subroutine 2's address? 3000. So PC will be updated with what? PC will be updated with 3000. Okay, now PC will be updated with 3000. So whatever is in PC, that will be the next instruction that will be executed. So now which instruction will execute? This will execute. Again you can see what is the first instruction. Move FP comma minus SP. Now it is storing whose FP? Subroutine 1's SP. Okay, subroutine 1's SP. What is subroutine 1's SP? You know it is 9984. FP contains what? Previously control is now moving from subroutine 1 to subroutine 2. There is only one FP. Okay, but this FP will have depending on which function is getting executed, that function's appropriate address it will be holding. Okay, previously FP is holding 9984, which is an address which belongs to the stack area of subroutine 1, Okay, so now subroutine 2 also want to use FP. So before that it is pushing FP into stack. Okay, so FP from subroutine 1 is pushed into the stack. So obviously what is this value being pushed? It is, in our case, it is pushing 9984 into the stack. Okay, because we consider the stack pointer original address is 1000. Okay, 9984 is pushed into the stack. Then what we are doing, move SP comma FP. Okay, after pushing this into the stack, move FP comma minus SP. After pushing this into the stack, what will be stack? Now stack pointer will be pointing here. Now stack pointer will be pointing to this location. What is this location address? This location address will be 56. This location address will be 56, 9956. Okay, and now we say move SP comma FP. So whatever is in SP, it is moved to SP. That is, it is copied to SP, which means FP is pointing wherever SP is pointing. SP is pointing to 56. FP is also pointing to this location. That is 9956. Okay, fine. Then again what we do, move multiple R0, R1 minus SP. So here this subroutine 2, it wants to use only 2 registers, R0 and R1. It is not using the 4 registers. Okay, subroutine 1 it used 4 registers, R0, R1, R2, R3. But it want to use only 2 registers. So it is pushing only 2 registers into the stack. So now whose values of R0 will be pushed into the stack? Who is calling subroutine 2? Subroutine 1 is calling. So R0 of subroutine 1 and R1 of subroutine 1 will be pushed into the stack. Okay, after pushing these things, stack will become, after pushing R0 of subroutine 1, stack will become 52. After pushing R1 of subroutine 1, 56 minus 4 is 52, 52 minus 4 is 48. Stack will be 48, stack pointer, that is it is 9948. Okay, so at this moment SP is pointing to here 9948. Okay, but still where FP is pointing? FP is pointing to this 56. Okay, fine. Right, now say for example this FP, now what we are doing, if you want to get the parameter, whatever the parameter that is being passed by the subroutine 1 to subroutine 2, if you want to retrieve the parameter, you can retrieve it by using FP. Where FP is pointing? FP is pointing to 56. Below that is the return address, and below that it's the parameter. Okay, so FP plus 6 will give the return address, FP plus 8 will return the parameter. So what we are doing, move 8 of FP comma R0 is index addressing mode. Here we are using FP is 9956 plus 8. 9956 plus 8 is what? 9964. Okay, that will give what? That will give the parameter 3, and that will be moved to R0. Okay, but here FP is not incremented or decremented. You can see we are just adding something to FP, but still FP is pointing to 9956 only. Right, Finally there are some statements that is getting executed. Okay, then say this subroutine 2, whatever the task, it is done. What is its job? We are not bothered of that. Okay, finally let us see how the control returns to the subroutine 1. So what we are doing, move r1 comma 8 comma move r1 comma 8 of fp, move r1 comma 8 of fp. So here what we assume means the final result of subroutine 2, whatever the subroutine 2 is called for some purpose, right? Subroutine 2 is called for some purpose. Its result is available in the register r1. Its result is available in the register r1, that we are placing in which location? 8 of fp. What is fp? 56. 8 of fp is what? 9956 plus 8 is 64, wherever the parameter was stored. Okay, so we don't want this content now, because already you used the parameter, result is calculated. Okay, so the result from subroutine 2 is stored here. So let me say result from what? Subroutine 2. So I will result from subroutine 2 is stored here. Okay, that is what this statement is doing. Move r comma 8 of fp means the result of subroutine 2 is stored here. Okay, because r1 contains the actual result, but we want to store somewhere. So move r1 comma 8 of fp, that will place the subroutine 2 result on this particular address 9964, right? Okay, then what should we do? Then you pushed these register contents into the stack, that you have to restore. Okay, because now you are going to return the control from subroutine 2 to subroutine 1. So whatever after returning control, their subroutine 1 will expect r0 and r1 to have those values which it has stored previously. So those values should be retained. For that we are using this statement, move multiple sp plus, now here we are using sp, here we are not using fp. Okay, you can see, move multiple sp plus r0 to r1. Okay, so what is sp, where is sp? Sp is pointing to 9948. Okay, so this is post increment. Okay, so first this, whatever this content, it will be moved to r1, this content it will be moved to r1, and then sp will decrement to 52. Okay, then this content also will be moved to r2. Okay, and then again sp will be decremented. So now once again 2 times sp is decremented. Okay, so now once again sp will point wherever fp is pointing. Sorry, 2 times sp is incremented. Here when you come down, the address will increase, right? Originally sp is pointing to 48. After moving this content to r1, sp will become 52. After moving this content to r2, fp will become 56. I mean 9956. Okay, 9956, right? So this is how here the things is working, right? Okay, right? So currently sp is also pointing to 9956 and fp is also pointing to 9956. This content were moved. This is moved to r1, this is moved to r2, right? Next what we are doing, move sp plus fp. So here when you say sp within bracket, it means the sp is now acted as the memory content. Okay, the memory content of wherever sp is pointing, that is moved to frame pointer. Okay, so what sp and fp both are pointing to where? This location. What this location contains? This location contains the frame pointer value from subroutine 1. Okay, so it means that this address is what? 9984. If you recall, this is the original fp value of from subroutine 1. Okay, that is now restored to fp. That is now restored to fp. So now fp will become, that is move sp plus fp. Okay, that is this content, wherever sp is pointing, that content will be moved to fp, and then sp will increment. Okay, so this 9984 will be moved to fp. So now fp is not, now fp is equal to what? 9984. 9984. So no more fp is equal to 9956. So this is not valid. Now fp is this. Now this is the new FP. Okay, now once again FP came here. Are you getting? And SP is also incremented. So SP is no more pointing to wherever. SP is no more pointing to here. Now SP is also pointing to this location 9960. Okay, 9960. Then return. Return means what? Again once again pop the stack. Once again pop the stack. So return, then you will get the return address 2164. So 2164 is just the instruction which follows the call instruction in subroutine 1. So now PC will become 2164. Now PC will become 2164 and SP will be once again incremented. So at this point PC is 2164. Okay, and no more SP is pointing to 9960. Again, the moment you pop, so pop means what? Return that particular value and increment the stack. Okay, so now SP becomes 64. Now once again SP is pointing to 64. Okay, fine. Now what is PC 2164? So the location, whatever the instruction of 2164, that will execute. Okay, so again what it is doing, it is popping some parameter, right? So what it is doing is move SP plus R2. Move SP plus, no, it is storing the result. It is SP plus R2. See the result of subroutine 2. The result of subroutine 2 where we have stored? We have stored in this location. In this location, right? In this location, wherever currently SP is pointing, if you recall. Okay, the result of subroutine 2 we have stored in this location wherever currently SP is pointing. Okay, currently SP is pointing to that location. Now that result we want to move to the register R2. Okay, so what we do, move SP plus R2. Are you getting? So this result is now moved to R2. So R2 will contain the result of subroutine 1, subroutine 2, whatever the result from subroutine 2. Okay, it is something like subroutine 2 is returning that value. So whatever subroutine 2 calculated, that result will be stored in R2. So pop subroutine 2 result into R2. Okay, right? Again SP will increment, right? After popping, SP is plus. Okay, increment. So what happens? So now once again SP will point to which location? Again SP will point to 9968. Now SP is pointing to 9968. Okay, fine. Then this program is performing, then subroutine 1 is performing its job. Okay, whatever its job it is doing, and finally subroutine 1's result is stored in R3. Whatever subroutine 1 it job it completed, its result will be stored in the register R3. Okay, now its result should be saved somewhere. Okay, so what it is doing, move R3 comma 8 comma FP. Okay, in this location it is storing its result, I mean the result of subroutine 1. Okay, currently result of subroutine 1 is available in R3. That should be stored in some memory in the stack. So this instruction is getting executed, move R3 comma 8 of FP. Okay, what is FP? FP is this 9984. 9984 plus 8 is what? Wherever the parameter 1 for subroutine 1 was stored. Okay, the parameter 1 which is passed by the main program, that was stored in this location FP plus 8. Okay, FP is 9984. So FP plus 8 is 9992. Okay, so now no more these parameters are required because already you completed the task. Whatever the task for subroutine 1 is completed. Now the result should be this locations can be used to store the result. Okay, so R3, the result is stored here. Okay, the result of subroutine 1 is stored here. Result of subroutine 1 is stored here. Result of, let me call it as result of subroutine 1. It is stored in this location. Okay, result of subroutine 1 is stored here. But FP is not yet modified. FP is still pointing to 9984. Okay, fine. Again what we are doing, move SP plus R0 to R3, because no more we need R0 R3 R0 to R3. I mean this subroutine 1 no more needs R0 to R3 because all the calculation was done. Now the control should be returned to the main program. So before returning the control, whatever the original values in R0 to R3, that should be retained, so that main program can the execution in the main program can continue without any issues. Okay, so that we are writing this statement, move SP plus R0 to R3. Where is SP? SP is pointing to 9968. So this will move this content, this location contains the this location contains the previous R3 from the main function. Okay, so this will be whatever the content here, this will be moved to R3, right? And then SP will be incremented to 72, right? Again this content will be moved to R2, right? After that SP will be incremented to 76. Again this content will be moved to R1. After that SP will be incremented to 80. Again this content will be moved to R0, right? After that SP will be incremented to 84. Okay, so after performing this move multiple SP plus R0 to R3, now once again SP will point wherever FP is pointing. Okay, that is 9984 to that location. Now SP will point. Okay, currently SP and FP both are pointing to the same address, which is 9984. Okay, then what we are doing again, again this frame pointer also should be restored, because now we are going to return control. So the whatever the old, now the control is going to go back to the main program. So after entering to the main program, frame pointer should have whatever the original value of the frame pointer was there when the main program was executing. So what we are doing, move SP plus FP. So SP, that is the content of SP. What is the content of SP? Whatever the older frame pointer value of main, that is now moved to FP. Okay, so no more FP is 9984. FP will hold whatever the frame pointer value of main. Okay, now FP is equal to whatever the frame pointer, that address we don't know. Okay, some value, some address it will be, whatever the frame pointer from main, that address it will hold. Okay, so no more FP is pointing to 9984, but still but where SP is pointing, after moving this content to FP, SP is also incremented. So SP is also not pointing here. SP is now pointing to 9988, the next location. Okay, so SP is now pointing to 9988. Okay, then what we are saying, return. So then we are saying return. So return means what? Return to the main program. Okay, so now you can see here what is the address. It is the address to which the control should return. Control should return to which address? 2012. Control should return to the address 2012. Okay, so what happens? So here again, so this again stack pointer will be incremented. I mean this is move return means this 2012 will now come into the PC. 2012 will now come into PC. So now program counter will become 2012. Okay, 2012, and after doing this, so whenever the return statement is executed, the top of the stack will be popped. So if top of the stack pops, SP will increment. So no more SP will be here. SP will be 9992. SP will point to 9992. Where what is 9992? Previously 9992 was holding parameter 1. Now it is holding the result from subroutine 1. Okay, and now PC is 2012. It means now this instruction will execute 2012. What is the instruction in 2012? Move SP comma result. So what is in SP? The result of subroutine 1, that is now stored to the location result. Okay, maybe somewhere in memory there will be a location called result. okay, some location, some address, we name it as result. Okay, some address, we say we named it as result. So in this location, this result from subroutine 1 will come. Okay, here I'll call it as or s1. Okay, the result from subroutine 1 will come here. Okay, right? So this is your just moving, you are moving, but you are not increasing the frame pointer, stack pointer. You can see there is no increment or decrement. Okay, but then originally, then the stack pointer should be updated to its original value. So finally what we are doing, move add 8 comma stack pointer. So what is stack pointer now? 999 to this, if you add 8, it will become what, 1000. So finally stack pointer will point to 1000. Okay, so before starting the main program also, if you recollect, stack pointer was pointing to where? 1000. Okay, so once all the return was executed, again stack pointer should come to that same location. Then it means that everything is going fine, right? Okay, so here we have discussed, the agenda of this lecture is what? We have discussed nested subroutine calls. So when there is nested subroutine calls, we cannot manage things only just by using a stack pointer, but we also use another pointer, and that pointer is called as frame pointer. Okay, so here we discuss the role of the frame pointer also. So whenever a subroutine is getting called, first we push the frame pointer content into the stack, then we push the what do you call, then we push the uh, see the the register contents into the stack, and then get the parameter, perform the operation. Okay, so like that the flow is going on, right? Okay, so if you want, I can let me try to write down the flow, so that I think it will be helpful. Okay, just a minute. Okay, so if you see here, yes, so from the main program, if you see, the first thing what we are doing is push the parameters to the stack. So this is for nested subroutine call. Nested subroutine call, the role of SP and FP, stack pointer and frame pointer. Okay, so what should you do first? Uh, before calling, okay, the calling program, what it should do, calling program, what it should do. Okay, this is the things the calling program should do. Push the parameters to the stack. The first thing it should do. Okay, so then call. Okay, then call the subroutine. Then call the subroutine. Okay, fine. Then in the call program, what should be done? The call program, what should be done? First step is to push FP into stack. Push FP of what? Push FP of calling program. Okay, this is calling programs FP. Okay, so that is by default. There is only one FP. When you push, whatever that FP, that will be pushed. Okay, calling programs. Okay, push FP to stack. Okay, then move or copy. Okay, even though we use the instruction move, let us say the actual process is copy SP to FP. Okay, now FP and SP will point to the same location. Okay, then push local variables. Local variables means the registers, whatever the registers you are using, into the stack, into stack. Okay, fine. Then after pushing all these things, then get the parameters, pop the, or you can say not pop exactly, it is get the parameters, get the parameters from the stack. So which parameters? The parameters that are pushed by the calling program. Calling program pushed the parameters, no. So get or read those parameters uh, from the stack. Okay. After reading the parameters, what this called program will do? Perform the operation. Perform the operation and store the result in some register. And store the result in some register. Okay, then what you should do, then copy the result, copy result from register to stack, copy the result from register to stack. Okay, so that is what here it is doing. Okay, it is move sp plus r2 means the result is copied to the stack. Then finally what it should do after that, what it is expected to do. So here if you see, so this is the statement, move r3 comma 8 of sp, that is used to place the result into the stack. Okay, fine. Okay, then restore the local variables. Okay, because we are going to return, so restore the local variables to the respective registers, right. Restore the local variables to the respective registers, then restore the frame pointer, okay, right, and then return, and at last what, return. And after coming back to the calling program, here in the calling program, what you should do after that, wherever, after coming back, wherever sp is pointing, that will be the result. Okay, move the content of sp, that is stack pointer, to result. Okay, and then make the stack pointer or restore the stack pointer. Okay, add that much to the stack pointer so that the stack pointer will point to the original address where it was pointing before started executing, or before calling the subroutine. Okay, so restore the stack pointer. So these are the results. Okay, these are the, these are the things which you are supposed to do, right. Okay, fine, let us stop here. Thank you.